what is capacitor. So we will discuss capacitor. This is capacitor, like I'm making here this capacitor. So first we will discuss what is capacitor, what is its units, and what is its behavior. We will see its characteristics. So we know that the charge stored in the capacitor is directly proportional to the voltage. Like the more the voltage is present in the capacitor, the more is the charge, because the charge is flowing outside the capacitor whenever we are using load across the capacitor. When the load is actually used, when the load is used across the capacitor, the charge which is stored in the capacitor is getting dissipated in the load. So now we will discuss actually that what are the unit of capacitance and everything. So when we will actually remove this condition of proportionality, we will use Q equal to CV. So we had seen this thing Q equal to CV in actually in 10+2 only. I will go very fast here because these things you had now, and then we will actually proceed. Q equal to CV is main formula, and from this we will derive the equation of current of capacitor I. Any current which is flowing through the conductor, it is nothing but it is a rate of change of charge with respect to time, dq by dt. It's actually difficult to write on this board. So this is dq by dt. So this thing IC equal to d by dt into CV. So the capacitance, here, the capacitance C, the capacitance C is constant. You can take it out. You can take this capacitance out C. So what you will find, C equal to d by dt of V. Like from here, this is the expression of capacitor current. So you have to keep this equation in your mind always. Whenever you are using this, whenever the capacitor is given, you can find whenever the voltage across the capacitance and the value of capacitor is given, you can find the current IC, which is given by this equation. So from here we can find the voltage across the capacitor. 1 second. So here actually we got this capacitor current IC equal to C dV by dt. So from here we will conclude the voltage across the capacitor. So if we want to get the voltage across the capacitor, we can get easily from here. If we will like interpolate this equation, we will get dV by dt. These are very basic formulas which you have studied in 10+2 only. You will get dV by dt is equal to IC upon the current which is present in the capacitor, IC upon C. So you can from here you will get easily the voltage across the capacitor. dv equal to 1 by c ic dt. Now, if you want to get the voltage, you have to integrate. You will integrate this portion. When you will integrate this portion, you will integrate this portion. You will get v equal to, when you will integrate this thing, you will get v equal to 1 by c integral ic dt. I hope you understood these two formulas. The voltage across the capacitor and the current across the capacitor. I hope you understood these things. You can give me the reply. If you have any doubt, you can tell me. You got these things?
Yes, sir.
Who is the other participant? Ankur, you got this thing?
Yes, sir.
You got this thing. I'll proceed now. Actually, I am very fast here because these are very basic things. So now I will proceed. So we got voltage and the current across the capacitor. So after that we can get power. Power across the capacitor will be equal to voltage into current. Voltage into a current. So you saw the current across the capacitor I equal to C d v by dt. So you can use this thing. You can use this thing here. Power equal to V into C dV by dt. This is a power across the capacitor. Always you have to find like this only. This is the power across the capacitor. Now you have to find energy. You know energy across the capacitor is equal to integral of power dt, p dt. So you know what is p. I am a little bit fast for this because I had discussed past two lectures very sincerely, very like slowly. So today I'm a little bit fast because I want to complete this thing. So you know power Vc dV by dt. If you are having any problem, you can ask me. dV by dt. You are integrating it with respect to dt. This and this term will be cancelled. When you will integrate, it will be C is constant and V is variable. V dV integral will be half V square. So the whole thing will come 1 by 2 CV square. These things you had understood and you have studied these things in 10+2. So the energy actually in the capacitor, the energy stored in the capacitor is nothing but it is half CV square. This is the basic formula. I am actually going through very basics. These things will be asked everywhere. Most of the problems actually will come on this basis if you want to write really some good entrances. So this is energy, this is power. One more thing I'll discuss here and then I'll conclude this thing. You know Q is directly proportional to CV. So you know here C is the capacitance. So for capacitor like resistance we are having VI characteristics. We are having VI characteristics. For inductor yesterday, for resistor we are having VI characteristics. For inductor we are having psi I characteristics. psi is the total flux, and for capacitor we are having QV characteristics. For capacitor we are having QV characteristics. So these things you should know, because these are very basic things. Like if you want to get the characteristics of resistor, you have to plot the graph between voltage and current. And if you want to find the characteristics of inductor, you have to plot the graph between flux and current. And if you want to get the characteristics of capacitor, you have to plot graph between charge and voltage. So this is charge and this is voltage. So if you'll vary these things, you'll get a linear graph like this. So from this, what we will get, we will see that capacitor is a bilateral element, like it is showing the same impedance from both sides of the capacitor. If we are having some current from one side, we can get the current from back side also. Like capacitor is having flow from both sides. Like if you are giving current from this side, the current will be like flow like this. And if you will put current from this side, the current will flow like this. This is capacitor is bilateral. And one more thing is, the capacitor is like here, it is linear, like it is linearly increasing. The capacitor is also linear in nature, it is bilateral in nature, and it is having a positive slope. The capacitor is having a positive slope like this. So if you want to take the slope of this curve, it is positive. If the slope is positive, it means the capacitor is passive element. So I have to discuss all these elements. I will discuss everything in detail. What is a unilateral element, one is bilateral element, what is passive element, one is what is active element, and all these things we have to discuss one by one. So from here now I will go to discuss some two more rules. Like I have to discuss two rules. So these two rules I will start now. So I will discuss two rules, and first rule which I'm going to discuss is voltage divider rule. It may be new to some, like those who are in fourth, fifth semester, they will be actually known with voltage divider rule. Voltage means so we are having actually now voltage divider rule. We are having voltage divider rule. So here I am discussing this. So it is VDR. So what actually voltage divider rule says? So I'll be discussing this voltage divider rule. You actually, most of the students know this thing before, but I'm actually repeating all these things: voltage divider rule, current divider rule, and then we will go. We will go for some problems. So those problems will be very useful to you. So what is voltage divider rule? Voltage divider rule is used when the resistors are in series. This thing you have to note. Like whenever we are using voltage divider rule is used only for the resistors which are in series. So like I am having a resistor this and this resistor, both the resistances are in series. So if I'm taking like this one is a resistor R1 and this resistor is R2, and if I am having here a voltage source, some V, let us suppose this is a DC source, I am not giving the polarity. So I am having this voltage source V, and this is resistor R1, this is resistor R2, both resistors are in series. So if I want to find the voltage across V2, I am not giving here polarity. I will, when we will solve problem, I will tell each and everything. So this is actually source voltage Vs. So if we want to find the voltage across R2, so V2 will be equal to source voltage into the resistor from where you are going to get the current, R2 upon R1 plus R2. So this is the main formula. Like if you want to find the voltage across any resistor which is in series connected, like if we are having two resistors which are in series connected, so if you want to find the voltage across the one resistor, the voltage V2 is across the resistor R2. So if you want to find the voltage across R2, then V2 equal to source voltage multiplied by resistor through which you want to find the voltage divided by R1 plus R2. Let us suppose this source voltage is 4 volt. Let us suppose this Vs is 4 volt and R1 is 3 ohm and R2 is 4 ohm. Let us suppose we are having this. So if anyone will ask us to find the voltage across this R2 resistor V2, so we will easily find V2 is equal to, what is the source voltage? Source voltage is equal to 4 volt multiply, what is R2? R2 is also 4 ohm and you will add 4 plus 3 is 7. So the voltage you will get across the resistor R2 is nothing but it is 16/7 volt. So this is how we are finding the voltage across the resistor which is in the series. So you have to keep this formula in your mind whenever you find the resistors in series, and if you want to find voltage across any one of the resistor, you will use this formula and you will get the required voltage. So we can go now the another formula, that is CDR, that's current division rule. Do you have any problem in this rule? You can tell me. Anyone?
No.
Confirm? Had you studied before this formula?
Yes, sir.
You had studied
Yes,
this
sir.
formula before? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Another one? Ankur, you have studied this thing?
Yes, sir.
So I'll discuss CDR very fast and then we will move some basic problems. I will go fast. So other one is CDR, that's current division rule, CDR. So you had understood this thing also, I think in BTech, first, second year students there now, second year students most probably. So if we are having any current source, this is actually D. So if we are having any current source, IS, and we are having actually two resistors in parallel. So CDR is always applied when the resistors are in parallel, R1 and R2. Whenever we are having resistors in parallel. So if we want to find the current like this I2 in the resistor R2 by CDR, the I2 is nothing. I2 is equal to current across the resistor 2 is equal to source current IS multiply opposite resistance R1 upon R1 plus R2. So this is another formula. This is another formula. This is current division rule. So these two rules forms the basics for network theory. So what is next? Now we have to discuss something new, which is very important. Like now we will discuss what is the behavior of inductor and what is the behavior of capacitor when we are actually changing the time. Like you had studied switching circuits, but before that I will discuss something. So you know Laplace transform? Had you studied Laplace transform?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Roshni, you I think you
No,
had.
sir. No, sir.
Okay. So here what we actually today, what we had studied till now, we had studied resistor, behavior of resistor, behavior of capacitor, behavior of inductor, and all these things we discussed thoroughly. What are its characteristics? Like resistor, capacitor, and inductor, all are bilateral elements. I'll actually put a summary. I will put a summary here, and I'll tell you that what we had studied. We studied one element, that is resistor, second one is inductor, and third one is capacitor. These three things we studied. So all are all all three all three are all are all elements are all these three elements are passive in nature, because all characteristics, all the elements having characteristics with positive slope, all are passive in nature, none of them are active in nature. Second, all are bilateral in nature. You should know all these things. These are very basic things which will be asked. All are bilateral in nature. All are what I told, time invariant. They are not depending upon the time. But condition is dependent that the temperature should remain constant, because in order to satisfy Ohm's law, the temperature should remain constant. So these are the things. For resistance, the characteristics are between voltage and current. For inductor, the characteristics are drawn between psi and current, whereas the characteristics of capacitor is drawn between charge and voltage, Q and C. So these are some basic differences between resistor, inductor, and capacitor. So like, and there is energy loss in inductor, that is in capacitor it is half CV square, and for inductor yesterday we discussed something what was half some Li square, half Li square. So for capacitor it is half CV square, for inductor it is half Li square. So there is no yeah, we will discuss now some more thing. For power across this capacitor resistor, there is power loss, that is I square R. We discuss for resistor there is power loss I square R. Whenever the resistors are in series, we are using I square R, and when the resistors are in parallel, we had studied the power loss is V square by R. So now we will discuss about the sources. So what are the sources? You have to discuss the subject very clearly if you want to like write any sort of exam in future. So you should be very much clear about the subject. This is very basic. This is the basic building block for the electronics and electrical engineering. So this subject should be very much strong, and all the things we will discuss here I'll tell, and I'm making a problem like uh, a PDF which will be having problems, and you have to solve these problems as many as you can. So now we will discuss about the sources. So sources we are having, the sources in network theory we are having, they are broadly classified into two categories. The sources are broadly classified into two categories. One is dependent sources and one other one is independent sources. You had studied all these things, those who are in higher semesters. So we are having independent and dependent. we are having dependent and independent. So now these dependent and independent sources are again divided into some categories. So like these independent sources may be the voltage source, this may be the current source. So like sources are divided into two categories, one is independent source, other one is dependent source. Now this independent source may be divided into two categories, one is voltage source and other one is current source. So this voltage source independent, which I am talking about, independent, this voltage source may be the ideal voltage source. Ideal, I am writing ideal voltage source, IV. It is ideal voltage source. It may be ideal voltage source or it may be practical voltage source. We have discussed all these things. This may be the ideal voltage source. This may be the practical voltage source. And for this current, it may be also one. It may be also ideal and practical. So this is actually sources classification. This may be the ideal current source and this may be the practical current source. So like what I told here, we will just discuss first these independent sources. Once we'll finish independent sources, then we will go the dependent sources. Once the knowledge of these sources will be very much like understandable for you, then you can solve any problem. So you have to discuss independent sources. This may be the new for you, but you have to discuss independent sources first very clearly, and then we will go for the dependent sources. So today we will stop here only. Like we will not